it's the end of the year. I wanted to do 2025 planning. So this is going to be a work in progress on camera slash like body doubling with my camera to get this done. So body doubling, if you're not aware, that's a technique that where you can either have someone else present with you, either like in person or virtually, and they're there and they're kind of like your accountability buddy, but just them being there helps you get in the mood and actually accomplish your task. So I'm going to use my camera slash this video as that body doubling accountability person. So first thing, I was going to do like a brain dump to start this planning, because I found that all my best planning starts with just doing a giant brain dump, what's in my brain, and then go from there with what I have. But since I've been thinking about this, I've actually kind of started building a brain dump list over the last week. So I'm going to take that list I already have. I might brain dump more onto it, like set a timer. I don't know, maybe I'll just do like a 5-minute timer and then just brain dump what else that I want. And here's where I think all those prompts that help get you started to think of what you want for the next year helps. But for me, I want to do the brain dump first, and then if I feel like there's more in there and I just need a little help getting it out, then the prompts are helpful. So this is how I'm going to do it a little differently. I don't know, we'll see. This is my first time doing it this way instead of trying to follow what other people have set up, because I found that too much structure kind of actually like blocks my planning. Yeah, so anyway, let me get started. So I'm going to make a blank document for my brain dump, because having stuff already on here, my brain is trying to make what's coming out fit what's already on the list, and that's not what I want to do. I just want to get all my ideas out. So actually for me, starting with a blank page is good. I like that. Okay, I set myself a timer. I have about 3 minutes left. I'm gonna go and look at my original list and combine these two. And now I'm gonna look at the prompts that I have, because I did save some prompts just to see if there's anything else that I can get out of my brain. But I think I did pretty good, like adding things to this list over the last week. Like it's in a Google Doc, so anytime I thought of something, I would just open the doc and just add another bullet point and type whatever the idea was. So the prompts that I do have that maybe you could use, you've probably heard of them, but the prompts are: what do you want more of? What do you want less of? What would be your ideal day, or your ideal month, or your ideal work week? Where do you want to be at the end of the year? If you write a letter from yourself a year from now, what would it say? So those kind of prompts. I don't want to start with those prompts though, because then my school-trained brain will try to think of the perfect answer for it instead of actually just getting out what I really want. So I don't start with those, but now I'm gonna look at them and see if anything else comes up. Okay, so I had 21 seconds left. I just stopped the timer because I was ready. So I've got a long list here. If I counted them, like I numbered the list, there are 49 things on here, but I know some of them are repeats or really similar ideas. So I literally just brained up. I didn't check to see if it was a repeat or not, because if it repeats, that means it's important to me. And now so someone shared an article on how to prioritize your projects for the year. And I really liked it because it started with the brain dump, so always great. And then once you brain dump your ideas and then you map them to your values, to see which ones more closely align with your values, then those are the ones you should prioritize. In that article, he does the brain dump and then he makes categories from the brain dump, which I like, because I feel like most planning for the year gives you categories and then tells you to like come up with ideas for each one. So it says like a category for work, a category for your health. There's all sorts of categories, but the problem for that for me is sometimes, again, my school-trained brain wants to come up with the perfect answer for each category and to make each category have an even amount of things, or I don't know. I'm focused more on the structure and less on the the end result of actually planning out a good year. So what I'm going to do is take my brain dump, see what categories are there, and then use those as my categories to focus on for the year. So now I'm going to do that. So that really, this means looking through my list. Ooh, I might need a spreadsheet because I want to combine the ones that are similar categories, and that'll tell me what category we're looking at. Yeah, we're going to have a spreadsheet. All right, so I literally just copy pasted my list to a Google spreadsheet. And now I'm going to create a headings row at the top. So idea for my list, category. That way I can kind of score them to a category and then see how many are in each category, or at least consolidate this the category somehow. Like, for example, I think I put more fun on here like 2 or 3 times. So that obviously there's a fun, that will just be a fun category. And then I did like more movement or Pilates. So I obviously have a movement category. We could call that health. And I might just do health to be more broad. But if those were the only ones, I might just leave it as movement and not, a little more specific, but still broad. All right, so I did my first pass through of kind of just reading through and trying to create broad categories, but now I know I'm gonna have to like consolidate those categories because there's still a lot, I think. But time for a pivot table. I'm gonna see how many in each category I have, just for funsies. Some of the ideas are kind of 2 in 1. Like they combine 2 categories into one idea. So yeah, I don't know if I should double count those. But anyway, that's not the point of this. I'm not doing data collection. I'm just gonna make a new column for the consolidated categories. Okay, so just make a quick drop down so I can select categories. Okay, so I went through my next pass through, and now I'm gonna update the pivot table to show what the second category is, the second column instead of that first column. So now I went from 3, 4, 5. Now I've got like 8 categories, and before I think I had double that or almost double that. So this is a little more manageable to look at. Okay, so I could probably, actually I should probably consolidate just a little bit more. I think 4 to 5 categories is good. That's a little easier to deal with. So again, I'm just gonna make a new column. I like to show my work just in case I need to change it later. Also, this process of consolidating more and more and more really makes me think about like what I wrote down too. So how I used to study, actually, I would, take notes, then turn those notes into more consolidated note cards, or maybe into a consolidated like page of notes, and then take the page of notes and turn them into like note cards to study. But really, by the time I got to that point, I had already been studying with listening, taking notes, consolidating my notes, consolidating the notes again. So that's kind of helps my brain. It just kind of helps it really dig it into my brain. All right, I'm going to filter this. Yeah, there we go. Now I can just copy paste categories. All right, so I finished that. Let me go update the pivot table. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically I have 6 categories, but one of them only has 1 thing in it, so it's not high priority for next year. It's not high priority for next year. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it off. So the official category count is 5. Okay, so now I've got my category. Going back to my doc with my draft instructions or outline. So I'm gonna go back to the article. I'll try to link the article. I can't put links in my descriptions yet, so I might just put the name so you can look it up. Okay, yeah, so values. I have values. I already wrote those down. Where did I put them? Oh, here it is. Yeah, I knew I wrote them down. Oh, yep, these. Okay, so yeah, my values seem to line up. All right, so now we're gonna map these categories to my values. So I just mapped which category, like I just made like a header column again and put a category in each header, and then my values are on the left hand side, and then for each column under each category I just made a little X if it matched up with that value somehow. This is not scientific, this is very subjective. Let's see. Cool. And yeah, I would say a lot of my categories and values do map up. I would say that 4 of them have 3, map up with 3 values. So like those categories match 3 values, and then 1 category matches 2. But honestly, I feel like that one should be 3 too. I'm just being very picky about if they really match or not, but it could be 3. And then that last category I'm not really using only has 1, so probably a good thing I'm not using it anyway. I'm gonna gray it out so I remember we're not using that. 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 4. I feel like I'm missing one. I am missing one. Oh, I skipped a category. Ooh, that one's trickier too because it doesn't really map to any, but it's important. You know what? I'm just gonna do this. Stop being so picky. You know what? That was the health category. I'm just gonna put it for all the values because, yeah, health is really important, and all of those values contribute to health. So that one is very important too. Okay, so I mapped out my category. Which of those categories match my values, so I know which ones to focus on. Now, in the article, his step 3 is you map your values across your project ideas. I don't have project ideas, or at least I'm not focusing on them here, because I do have a ton of ideas of things I want to work on, but I want to first get my priority categories, and then I'll pick those projects that fit that category. Okay, and then the part I was really excited about is step 4 is set up a menu of days. So it's almost like pulling like a card for the day, or like a game. And so let's see, you might have a set of cards, like a stack of cards of one category, and then when you pull it, it'll tell you what to do, but it's within one category. And so I kind of like that because I already kind of have like themed days for work anyway. Like one day is admin day, another day might be a certain type of client work. And so I like the idea of having like a day for it and then picking a card for that day to focus on. That works well with my brain already. Each category will be a type of day, and then on the card you would list your options, what you can do on that day. It's time for another brain dump. All right, so I've got my categories. I'm gonna brain dump the projects under each category. Okay, didn't skip any this time. Okay, I didn't set a timer. I just took out all the project ideas in my head and brain dumped it into each category column in my spreadsheet. And honestly, each of these, let's pick an example. Like my podcast, like I have a connection column, and so I put it under there because really it's like a way to connect with people and myself. Like connection is like with other people, with myself, and so it feels like it should go under the connection column. And really that's like it could be one whole project, it could be multiple projects, but now I know, like, okay, so for this category, podcast can fit under here, and then any podcast related projects would fit like a connection day if I was focusing on that for the day. So yeah, I just did that for each category, just brain dump all the ideas. Like write a book, I have that under another category. and I already know that's a whole project. But this gives me a starting place, so when I am fleshing out the project, I know what project, because I have so many. Yeah, so many of my ideas list, but it's just hard to know what to focus on. And so I could actually go through my ideas list, and then anything that matched these priorities, I could just take that and turn it into a project. So that's also another way to use this. Ooh, I like that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna stop here. I thought I would sort of map out the year, like this quarter I'm gonna focus on this, the next quarter I'm gonna focus on the next thing. But I think I'm gonna stop here. So it's like a good stopping point. Yeah, but you'll notice I didn't have like a business or separate work category. Oh, you know what? Let me share. I can share my categories. Connection, fun, create, and learn. I kind of put those together because they were separate. And then I was like, well, fun and create for me are kind of the same. And then I just put learn together with it because learning is also fun for me. And it's almost like you're creating new skills. So fun, create, and learn. And then my next one is another 3 categories I got turned into one. So it's let it be easy dash streamline operations, and then comma do less. So kind of like we let it be easy by streamlining how things work, improving, and then we can do less. So, and that makes things helps things be easier. So that's that category. And again, that one can apply to work, but also personal life. The fun, create, and learn can also apply to work and my personal life. Stability is the next column. And so that can be like daily routines, financial related goals, and then, or financial related projects. And then health is the last one. So that one could be like mental health, physical health. And so I like these categories because for me, they're broad. Because connection can also be like personal relationships in networking, business marketing. So I like these better because it's like a lot of categories always feel forced to me and like artificially imposed. And I think that's why I always had a hard time trying to plan within other people's structures. And yeah, so I don't know if work-life balance is a thing. I feel like it's more like a work-life seesaw. Like maybe there's more work on some days, but then maybe there's more life on other days. Especially when you have your own business, but even when you're working, I feel like, I don't know, sometimes your brain is just more full of your work, what's going on there. And other days it's more full of your life. You're not thinking about work. So I feel like think of it as like a seesaw. Maybe overall you want to be balanced, but every day is not going to be balanced. I don't know. I think more in like cycles. So maybe there's like a work heavy cycle and then a life heavy cycle. And so I think these categories will let me do that. So yeah. So I'm going to stop here, and I don't know if I will record anything after this. I was going to use the full idea from the article where he created like a card to pull for each day, and then he used that to figure out what to do. But thinking about it more, knowing that for me, the getting started part, like the more time to set up and actually start a thing, the harder it is for me to actually follow through. Keeping that in mind, I realized the card idea is not going to work because I would first have to like make the cards, get the card, figure out what to do for that day, and that's just too much friction before I even started doing the task. So I think that's why I needed a break, because I realized that wasn't going to quite work. And then coincidentally or not, I started reading the 12-week year. So I checked that out as an ebook and started reading it and realized like, oh, this will actually work a lot better for me. So basically, summary of that book, it helps you be productive, and you instead of looking at the year as 12 months, you shorten that time frame. Instead, look at a year as 12 weeks. And the whole point is that most people like they're more productive like closer to a deadline. That's when they really make a push to get things done. And so the author's like, why not just set our own arbitrary deadline? Like, it doesn't have to be the end of the year. we can just make 12 weeks and that's our deadline. And I like it because I already kind of naturally plan in 90-day increments anyway. Like for me, that's a long enough time to get things done, but short enough that I can finish it. It doesn't feel like I'm forever doing the same project or task. So I decided to incorporate the 12-week plan. I haven't finished the whole book yet, because as I read as I read what to do, I will then pause and go and actually implement and set it up. So yeah, so that's what I did. I took my categories, and like the areas I wanted to focus on for next year, and then what I did, because it's best to have only a few things you focus on and not too many, for 12 weeks. So let me see, I believe I picked three things. Um, Only three main areas. So the easy one is to move daily. And so that one I say is easy because I just put it on, I made a habit tracker page on paper. And that one is literally just do a certain type of exercise video every day. And I'll just track how often I do it. So that one's easy. And that one fits into my goal of like health, moving more. And then my other goal is the easiest name I could come up with was build my personal brand. So for that one's more of a project. And so I've broken it down into the different tasks that need to be done or goals for each week. And then for each of those weeks, that's broken down into more specific tasks that need to be accomplished. So I can say like, yes, this goal was completed. And then the third one is actually more of a work goal. And so that one is in my work Asana project, where I do keep all my work tasks. But basically for that one is focused more on the marketing for my bookkeeping business. And so that fits under that connection goal, because I want to connect with the right people. And so for Q1, for this first 12-week plan, I want to lay the foundation for that marketing. And I have that broken down into a project in Asana, what I need to do each week, and then within each week, what tasks need to be completed. So that was really easy. So I like this method because I've already done all the setup already. So then after this, I just need to follow the task I've set for myself, and thus that's less friction. So I know I'll be more likely to actually follow through. And now that I realize, I am actually using paper for the personal goals, because something I've learned this last year is that while using online software like Asana to keep track of tasks and projects works really well for business, because I'm on my computer anyway. I'm in business mode. I do not want to look at my computer once I'm out of business mode. For personal tasks, it really hasn't worked that well because I don't want to open up my computer again to look at my Asana. And Asana on the phone or tablet is just not really the same. It's almost more annoying to use, and so I just really don't use it. So, and same thing with Notion, honestly. It's like same problem. It's great for recording ideas and my thoughts about books, but like just for a task, I really just don't want to look at an electronic screen. So I decided to why not go back to paper because that works so well for me in school. So this is what I've done. I'm not going to show this like in detail, just sort of so you can kind of see what I've done here. But this is habit tracker, really roughly drawn. I just took a notebook I had that I really hadn't used yet because I wanted to get started right away. I didn't want to go find the perfect planner, so I just drew something really simple. So this is my habit tracker for the week. Or, well, actually, no, this is more than a week. But it's a habit tracker. And then at the bottom of the page, it's hard to see, but I got this idea from another YouTuber. But basically, you score each day, like how many of your habits did you accomplish? How many did you do? And so it's pretty cool because now every day I can kind of think like, oh, okay, I want today to be a 3-day. Let's get at least 3 done. So it's I don't want to say motivating because I would probably try to do this anyway without the score, but the score kind of gives me like a baseline to aim for. So if I only do 3, still a pretty good day. And then for the 12-week year, again, I just use this notebook because I already had it. I didn't want to go try to find the perfect planner or make a perfect template. So I'll just use this and actually really like it already. um, I'll use it, but I'm thinking of maybe making like my own personal template or a whole journal that looks like this. But anyway, so I've set up one page for like I guess the 12-week year at a glance. So for all the personal goals. So it's kind of like on this page. Oh my gosh, that is, I know it's written in pen, so it's not as easy to read as a marker on paper. But I have the goal here. So the goal on one part of the page, the second goal on the other, with all of the sub goals, to accomplish that one main goal for the 12 weeks, all the things I want to get done. And then on the other page, I have each week broken down. So for the task for week 1, what do I need to do? And then behind that, I have the actual week. So if you can see, so it's like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I have it written out kind of like a planner. And so on this, on the left-hand page, it's on the goals, like the goal focused for the 12 weeks. But also on the right-hand page, because I have other things I need to get done that aren't focused on those goals, like buy groceries, cook, all the other regular tasks. So I have that on the other side, the right-hand page. And that's where I can list all those things, but they'll have their own page and it won't get in the way of the goals. And that way I can, when I'm looking at the left side, I'm focused on goals, right side, I'm focused on like regular stuff. And so I actually really like this. And that's why I might keep doing this just for like forever. But we'll see how it works in practice. Right now I only have it written up to week 4. So that means I'll just have to come in and set up the next few weeks. And then if I want to make any changes, I can, or I'll just set it up the exact same way if that worked out. But yeah, that's kind of the end of my 2025 planning process. This is really typical in me. I take ideas from multiple sources, kept what I liked, dropped what I didn't, and just put it all together to make this process. And so I recorded this so I can have a record of it for myself, so that next year when I do this, I can draw from this and either follow the same method if it seemed to work, or make tweaks if there are some things that could be fixed. Hopefully this helps someone. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Enjoy your 2025.